stretch our minds into the future and imagine what may be one day. To me, this is one of the wonders of the human mind, to launch itself into a version of the world that does not yet exist, to craft and create worlds that surpass current reality. It's actually one of my favorite pastimes, dreaming. My favorite imagining is I have my own cooking show and I dash madly about the kitchen, tossing ordinary ingredients into hot pots to whip up extraordinary dishes, all the while narrating my every move to an imaginary camera. Does anybody else do that? Glad to know I'm in good company. Fantasy that could be reality with some intention, with some planning, with some measure of focus. Your recent name change took intention, focus, real listening. That's what I appreciate about dreams. They can be the promises we make to ourselves, promises we make in community, promises that with some intention, planning, and focus will be fulfilled, will be made reality. And what is this world we dream about? I think now of our Universalist roots. This world we dream about is one in which all souls are saved. All souls are saved. Such a juicy proposition, and I don't know about this area of the country, but where I live, it's one that all souls are saved can evoke some discomfort. That word saved, evoking images of a fiery hell or the lost, the left behind. And that's not the saved that I'm talking about. The healing and saving message of universalism is that all are loved, and there is to be justice for all in this life. It is a promise, it's a dream, one worth our intention, our planning, our focus. The healing and saving message is that our hands, these very hands, your very hands, hold the world. And these hands, your hands, do not do this transformational work alone. Your hands. Take a moment, look at them. Your hands. They belong to you. Leaders who are ready and willing to take risks of self-discovery, risks of dialogue, risks of telling, risks of listening, and risks of doing the work of casting a new vision for healing our fragmentation. The healing and saving message is that our hearts, these very hearts that right now are beating in our chests, are being called to keep moving along the path of personal and collective transformation, a part of which is being active learners, learners of self, of culture, of stories, of struggle, of liberation. That's what this faith is about. Healing and saving through personal and collective transformation. It's work. And it's worthwhile work because there is no other promise but the promise of love and justice in this life. The healing and saving message of universalism is that we need to become border people, all of us, called to develop cultural competence and navigate with sensitivity and grace the communities around us, called to be in alliance for the sake of ushering in the reign of God, God who is love, right here on earth. I have a passion for all this faith can be. Do you have a passion for this faith? Yes. Because at our very best, when we pause to remember who we are, companions on this grand experiment called life, when we take a moment to shed the ways we have been carefully taught to be, ways that tell us to lead from fear, that tell us we're separate, that tells us some people are superior to others, that tells us to punish the poor, that tells us to take from, that tells us to persecute those who do not look like we do, that tells us to deny rights to those who love. When we take a moment to shed all of that and hear our stories, hear and see each other into existence, into community, When we take a moment to embrace, practice a different way of being, learning about our own privilege and power, getting down in that work and knowing ourselves, dismantling systems of oppression inside our very institutions, even our institutions of faith, leading from love, because last night we learned, Tupac said, we are the love people, yes? When we question norms, seek out stories and perspectives that are not usually represented or heard, and work alongside those seeking economic and racial justice, arresting injustice. I love that phrase. When we stand on the side of love, when we dare to be the love people, then we are living into the promise of building the world we dream about. Then we are living with the intention of this faith. Then we are making active the plan to usher in the reign of love and justice right here, right now. Then we're enacting heaven, that dream of a place where holy justice reigns right here on earth. Then we're focusing on healing our corner of this world. It is a beautiful thing to dream, to cast our vision, to stretch our minds into the future and imagine what may be if we were to build a new way of being, not someday, but beginning today. Beginning again every day that we have breath. Taking courage with these hands and hearts to make real the dream, to journey together, seeking to be transformed even as we transform. Becoming explorers and learners in this world around us. Fulfilling the promise of healing a fragmented world, laboring not just in hope, but also in love. In this spirit we gather, and in this spirit we pray.